Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you're tuning in. Today we're chatting about a really big topic. I think this is obviously the biggest topic right now, is weddings and rescheduling. So I'm going to chat a little bit about my policy when it comes to rescheduling, and I'm also going to hopefully give you guys some insight and some tips. So stay tuned and we'll get right into it. And for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm a fine art wedding photographer based in Toronto, Canada. I do workshops, I do mentor sessions, I have some online courses, so I'll make sure to link all of that below. And let's get into today's video. Past month or so, as you all know, things have been a little bit crazy with the whole virus and everything that's going on, and a lot of brides are panicking, understandably, when your wedding is 1 or 2 months away and you're not even sure if you can have your full guest list there. So this situation has been hard as a photographer, deciding on how to respond to these clients and how to take care of my clients in the best way. A lot of photographers that I've talked to, they've decided to charge a fee if the couple wants to move their date to a prime Saturday in 2021. And I know this makes a lot of sense. We don't want to lose all of our wedding dates for next year. If all of our clients from this year move to 2021, then how are we supposed to book new clients for that year? So it's been an interesting time, and it's been a little bit hard to navigate and know what I need to do for my business, because I believe that every business needs to be treated differently. Every person is at different stages in their business, and I'm at a point where I'm only booking 15 to 20 weddings per year. So if I did have 5 or 7 or 10 weddings moved to next year, it wouldn't be the biggest deal. Maybe I would have to work a little bit harder, take on more weddings than I usually would, but I know that I could make it work. Now, if you're someone that has 20, 25, 30 weddings, I can understand how difficult this decision can be, because if you do have 15, 20 weddings reschedule, then it will be really hard to make up for that lost income. The biggest thing that I suggest doing first is to email all of your clients. Don't wait for them to email you first. That's almost the worst feeling, is when they actually email you first and reach out. You need to be the one to reach out to them first. So from your April weddings to your August weddings, maybe a few in September, if you feel they have big guest lists and it could be a problem, then I would reach out to all of those weddings. Don't send the same copy and paste email. Don't send a PDF guide. Just send a customized email to each bride and groom and just ask them where they're at. So what I did in my emails were, I just asked the couple how they were. I asked them how they were feeling about everything, if they had thought about rescheduling, or if their venue has mentioned anything to them. And I just mentioned that it's been difficult as a photographer during this time and everything that's going on with my business and my clients. But I really made the email all about them, just asking them how they felt. And I really made sure to reassure them not to panic. I said, you don't need to worry, don't panic. This email isn't to make you panic. I just wanted to check in, see how you're doing, see how you're feeling about things, and to also let you know that I'm here for you guys. So if you did need to reschedule, we would make sure to find a date that works. But if you guys need anything at all, just let me know. I'm here. And that's all my email really was. I didn't talk about any policies or any numbers. I really just sent a sincere email to all of my couples, asking them how they felt. And I think that's the most important thing. As a business owner, we don't want to treat every couple the same way. I have different relationships with all my couples, so I talk to them all in different ways, but it's important that they feel the compassion that you have for them. You're not treating them just like business or another client. They feel appreciated and they feel taken care of. So that's step number 1, is to send out an email to all of your clients from April to early September. If you want to go further than that, feel free to. I just didn't want to worry my September or my October wedding, since I know that it probably won't be a big deal then. And I also take on smaller weddings. But if you have a lot of big scale weddings, then it might be a good idea just to reach out to everyone, and that way they're not emailing you first. In that initial email, I also mentioned what my other brides were doing. So I mentioned that my May and June weddings have all mostly moved their dates, and then I still have a couple weddings that are hanging on for hope. So I made sure to reassure them that, you know, if their wedding's in August, don't worry. None of my August weddings have rescheduled yet, so you don't need to worry. I'm just sending this email in advance. I think giving brides an understanding of where the rest of your weddings are at very helpful, because they're not in the wedding industry, so they're not seeing all the posts that us photographers are seeing in every single group right now. And just to give you guys an idea of what's happening with my weddings, so far I've had 7 weddings reschedule. So I had 2 April weddings reschedule. One moved it to April 2021. Another one moved it to November later this year. I had a June 6th wedding moved to December of 2020. And then I had a later June wedding moved to August 2020, which is still a little bit up in the air because obviously we don't really know what August is gonna look like yet. And then I also had 2 July weddings reschedule. Recently, just this week, they rescheduled to 2021 dates, June and July. And then I did have 1 September wedding rescheduled to September 2021, just because they had a lot of family that was coming from overseas, and that's a little bit more up in the air. And that's also something I would address with my couples. If I knew that their guest lists were really large and that a lot of their family was coming from overseas, then it's a good idea to mention them about the whole travel aspect. Are the flights going to be available that soon, or is it going to be really difficult and stressful to plan? I know a lot of the concerns for my July weddings were not that they didn't have enough time to choose whether to reschedule or not, but they couldn't do a lot of the planning things that they needed to do, like seeing their venue and doing tastings and having their bridal showers. So there was a lot of things that they felt like they were missing out on, so that's why they'd rather just leave the stress behind and move to the next year, which I completely understand. So I've had those 7 weddings reschedule, and then I still have a lot of weddings in August and September and October, so none of those weddings are rescheduling yet, but I have messaged them, so we are chatting just about the possibilities and whether we should plan a postponement date or not. Okay, so next I'm going to chat about the big thing, which is my policy. So I've decided after a lot of thought to allow all my couples to reschedule with no penalties. Now, I don't want to have all my clients reschedule. I definitely don't want my September, my October weddings having to worry about that. I really want them to hold on to their date for as long as possible. But I am allowing all my June, July, August weddings to all reschedule to next year without any penalties. In the end, I decided not to charge anything because I know that these couples have already spent so much money and invested so much time into planning their weddings. I didn't want to add any extra stress by charging an extra fee to move their wedding dates. It's a hard decision because I know I will miss out on weddings for next year, but at the same time, by charging them, you know, an extra grand for each wedding that moves, that's not making me a ton of money anyways. So I'd way rather keep those relationships, show them that I care for them, rather than treating it so much like business and not really showing that care. After they got my initial email asking how things were and how they're feeling, then they sent me an email back just letting me know what they were thinking and the possible idea of postponing. And then that's when I mentioned more of how my business is doing with all of this and asking them if they could take Friday or a Sunday instead of a Saturday. But if not, that's totally fine. I would be there no matter what. But I did encourage my couples to look at the more unpopular dates and look at Fridays and Sundays, and also look at more of my off season instead of my prime season. But that's just something that I mentioned to my couples. I was totally okay if they still took a Saturday in 2021, which a lot of them did. And then for cancellation, of course, if anyone was to cancel, you don't get any refunds because of that, unless there was some sort of crazy situation. But if they're just canceling because they've chosen not to get married anymore, then usually I don't give any money back, since I've already reserved their date and now I've missed out on possible other weddings that I could have taken on their date. So after you've worked with your couples and they've chosen a new date, you want to make sure that you send them an amendment contract. So this is to pretty much cancel the old contract and put in place the new contract with the new wedding date. That way you're not tied to still shoot that wedding, even though it's not happening, you're legally not tied to go shoot it. And then also the payments can be transferred over to this new contract. After the amendment contract, then you sign them the new wedding contract with their new date and everything, with a new payment plan. And that way everything's official and they're booked for that new date. After everything that's been happening with COVID-19, I did change a lot in my contract and I revised the cancellation section. So make sure that if you're not confident in your contract, that you either purchase a new contract, which you can find some online, or you do get a lawyer to look over your contract. It's really worth the investment because you might spend a few $100s for the lawyer, but it could save you thousands of dollars if clients try to come back at you and try to get their money back. So make sure that you have a sound contract that you feel confident about and that you can stand behind. One quick thing that I will say about contracts, make sure that you have it worded retainer and not deposit. That's just something that I've heard legally makes more sense because a retainer is something that's non-refundable. But if you call your retainer a deposit, then technically that's something that they could get back. I would look this up on Google. I feel like there's a lot of articles on it. But if you haven't looked into that, I would look into that just to make sure. And then when it came to the new wedding contract, I made sure to kind of make a different payment plan. So a lot of my clients, we stuck with the same payment plan. Their payments are still due this year. So that way I don't feel too much of a loss with my own income. But some clients, they have decided to add on extra hours. And so we did break up the payments a little bit more so that way it would continue into next year. But make sure to work with your clients, see what they're comfortable with. I know that this is a hard time for everyone financially, so some couples might need a little bit longer for that payment, and I think it's okay for us to be flexible as well. With everything that's going on, you really want to be thinking long term. A lot of people are really short-minded when it comes to business. They're only thinking about next year and what's going to happen, and they're really worried, so then they start charging clients a lot more. What I try to think of is how can I treat my clients the best so that I can get more referrals in the long run and have longevity within my business. If I start creating those bad relationships with my clients, then they're probably not gonna want to refer me, and then I'm losing out on a lot of potential work that I could have. So don't worry about next year. Don't worry if you're gonna have 5 weddings or 10 weddings, or if you're gonna be able to take on a lot. What you want to do now is start thinking of ways that you can already strategize how to make other income other than weddings. So over the years, that's something that I've worked on because I don't want to do weddings forever, or at least I don't want to be doing 20 weddings per year forever. So I really started looking into other ways to make income. And just to name a few, maybe making an online course if you feel that you're at that point in your business. If you feel like you're growing an audience on your Instagram, then it's great to make some online courses if you feel it's going to be helpful and it's going to add to people and help them improve. You can start selling more prints and more albums to your clients, so maybe send them all an email letting them know you're offering a discount on their galleries if they want to order anything. I think upselling albums is a great way to make extra income. So even if you offer a small discount, it's a great way to get your clients buying things. And it's also a great idea because we know that USBs can fail, and that if clients aren't printing their work, there's a big chance they could come back to you in 5 or 10 years and ask for those photos. And although you're not obligated to give them those photos, you're gonna feel really bad that you didn't help them print their work. So try to encourage your clients to print their work, offer an album, offer discounts on everything right now, and that's a great way to make some extra income as well. Start offering lifestyle sessions. So maybe right now have a little gift card on your site, or if they email you, they can get a gift card for their friends or their family. But now is a great time to start selling shoots in advance, because we know that probably in the summertime we will be able to shoot clients, maybe not huge groups, but we'll definitely be able to shoot 2 or 3 or 4 people. So it's a great idea now to start selling those sessions in advance. So that way when the summer comes around, you'll already have some sessions booked. I've also seen some people doing these FaceTime sessions where they actually pose the clients just on FaceTime. So they'll tell them where to stand, they'll kind of show them around the house, they'll put them in front of a window, they'll tell them how to pose, and the clients will actually take the picture via FaceTime and edit the image and send it to the client. I don't know if that's something that I would be interested in or good at, but I think that's a really creative idea and it could be worth looking into. As creatives and as entrepreneurs, we can't be worried so far in advance. If you chose to be an entrepreneur, then that means that we always have ways of income. We can always create new ways of income. We don't need to worry about just booking weddings. That's why I don't really mind if my whole 2021 got booked up with rescheduling from 2020. I know that I wouldn't be in a bad place. I would find other ways of income, and I might have to work a little bit harder for that income, but I know that I could do it. So don't worry if you're a business person, if you're creative, then think outside the box, start thinking now, and start brainstorming ways that you can make up for that lost income. I don't think any of us should be upset at our clients or should be upset about what's going on. It's really out of our control, but we can focus on what we do right now. This is a great time to also look into the back end of your business, where you're spending too much money, where you're losing money, how you can save more money. Maybe you're not charging enough for your shoots and for your weddings, so you're already in a bad place when all of this happened. So this is a great time to look into all that so you can be more prepared when we come out of this. And lastly, this is one little secret that I've been doing. So after each client has rescheduled their wedding, I'm actually sending them a gift in the mail. I know that sounds crazy because a lot of people are actually asking for more money from clients, but I've decided to bless my clients. So after they've rescheduled their wedding, I send them a little care package in the mail, which I've just done online, so I don't need to get the package, it just goes straight to them. And there's a lot of services that do this, so you can just look them up online. But again, I want to show my clients that I really care about them, that I'm not in this for the money, that I care more about them and their well-being and them having the best day of their lives. And for a lot of clients, that looks like waiting till next year so they don't have to carry the stress or worry about their guests, and I totally understand that and respect that. This gift doesn't have to cost $50 or $60. All I spent on it was, I think, $25 with shipping. So there's a little tip for you, go above and beyond for your clients. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions or anything you want to share, I would love to hear it, so you can post it below in the comments if there's anything special you're doing for your clients during this time or any sort of service that you're using. Post it below. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy during this time, and I'm praying for you, and I'm praying that your businesses still flourish. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.